Hello and welcome to the Treasured Page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. Today I want to announce the project that we will be doing for July. So this was our June project where we built this lovely house into the Builder Journal. And you can see how that was unwrapped in the previous video from yesterday, but today I just want to announce what it is that we'll be doing for July, and then I will bring out another video over the weekend and I will show you exactly how to make, or how I will tackle the project. If you've been following along with the Builder Journal series, you will find that everything, including how to make a signature keeper, how to put your pages together, how to die your pages, everything is on the Treasured Page YouTube channel. You can find the playlist for Builder Journal 2024 and you can see the projects that we've been doing so far, which will help you if you would like to tackle this journal and build it up and catch up. If you're just joining in, we have got this house project here. You'll see how I made mine, and I've been swapping with a wonderful group in the UK and we have been exchanging these wonderful projects between us, and the next one is coming up now. So we're looking for the July project, and that is going to run for the whole month, and it's just some nice embellishments that we will be making over this month to adorn and decorate our journals as we put them together over the year. So we're just working on the second signature in the journal, and it's all going to come along if we follow along with the different projects as we build those up. And we're going to be looking at the July project today. So I hope you've all had a lovely time making the houses for the June project. This is mine in the journal, and I think that the two colours that I've got from my swap partner Joanna and my swap partner Pat, the pinks are matching. We've got the blue here from Shirley's paper coming through like sky, and I'm really pleased with how it's coming together. It looks fabulous. So lots of pockets and things there, and I can just add that straight into the journal and it's all starting to work and come together, looking really fantastic. So that will then lead on to the autumn signature there, and it's really fun. Okay, so the project this month, I was toying with two different ideas, and the one that I've landed on was given to me by this piece of ephemera, which is obviously music paper, but it's vintage music paper, and this comes from the 1940s, 1948, and the clue is in the title: buttons and bows. So we're going to be focusing in particularly on buttons for this project, and in fact we're going to be making them from paper. We're going to be making paper embellished buttons, and the project will be to make 10 paper buttons. The other thing we're going to do, once we've made our 10, minimum of 10 buttons, when you've made your 10 buttons, you need to take some of those buttons and turn them into the minimum of two different ideas to embellish something. So I will show you, these are real buttons that I've used, and then we'll look at the paper buttons. So real buttons could be used, and paper buttons would be even better because they are flatter. You could use them as a belly band or a side tuck or a little cluster in that manner. It looks really sweet just with strips of paper decreasing in size and then the buttons on the top, but they are thick. So the paper buttons are useful when you want the look of a button, and only a button will do, something round just to bring in a lovely different look to a project. It is lovely to be able to keep it flat, so we're going to be making our own. So that's an example of how to use vintage buttons. I've got another one here where I've used actual vintage buttons, but it adds bulk to the journal. Whilst those are lovely, they feel nice, I like looking at them, it is quite fun to be able to add something that's flat. So I've also got some button ideas sort of here where I've punched out the circles using washi tape, and I've made these round circle embellishments, and they just, I feel they look really lovely, dotted around like bubbles. And there was a real button there, and then I've done those ones there, but they're very thin. Those are just made with one piece of card and then either a decorative paper or a washi tape over the top. So that's that idea. Here's a little cluster using a paper button, and that has used some old vintage ledger, and then I have embossed it or added a glaze. Maybe you could use Nouveau drops or some of the other 3D effects, gel or glaze or varnish, even nail varnish. You could use different coloured nail varnishes and make shiny buttons. You could really just use your imagination here, and they do not have to be circles. So you don't have to be limited by the supplies that you have. If you haven't got a circle punch, that would be advantageous. If you've got circle punches, you can make the circle button. But don't be limited. If you haven't got these supplies, that's absolutely fine. How much fun would it be to make square buttons, triangle buttons, heart-shaped buttons, buttons that are in the shape of a star, or something very simple like a rectangle, and line them up, mix and match, odd buttons, different coloured buttons, buttons that have got a texture to them, fabric buttons, lace buttons, anything goes, anything at all, anything that you fancy, anything that you feel will be really wonderful. You'll be able to punch out music paper, text paper, all sorts of things. Just grab something like an old business card, get your punch if you've got one, and then check where it's going, punch it out, and there you have the start of your button. And from here you can take some text and then just cut out something like that. Use your glue on your decorative paper or your script and just stick it down onto the bit that you don't particularly want to see. So you've got that on the other side. That's quite fun. Then just ink around the edge. I'm using a green one here for a bit of change. Ink around the edge, and that is a nice big button. Just poke it through on something soft and just create your holes with your awl, and there we go. Okay, so that's one idea. Another idea would be to use washi tape, and then you can just use your punch again and find an interesting part of the washi tape and take a punch from that. Okay, and then from there, and just ink around and add some punched holes. What you could do is you could make a few of these and you could then make some clusters or something. So you could just take some scrap papers and have a little go at making something that you can turn into a cluster or something that you might want to just put together and show somebody how they could use their papered buttons embellishments, and then it would also be nice and flat. So the key to this project is to keep things nice and flat and just to play around, get a pleasing arrangement, and then the button goes on the top. And then all you do is sew it on as you would a normal button, and then you've got a lovely little embellishment. You can make a few of these, and if you're finding that that's difficult or you're not sure about clusters, then that's okay. Add them to a tag, add them to something that you feel comfortable doing, and you don't have to worry about any of that. Okay, and then we just go around a couple of times, and then I shall just tie that off on the back, and that is how we tackle that. If you've got anything like this, I've got Nouveau crystal drops, but if you've got any of the dimensional liquid 3D effect style glazes that you can get, then you might want to just add some of this to your button and then leave that to dry and set overnight, and you'll have what looks like a lovely enamelled button. So that's how this one's going to appear, and ultimately, so this is quite fun. It's sort of nice to use up products if you actually have them. If not, you may have some embossing glaze from previous projects and you could use the heat gun on that. So I'll just leave that to level itself out, and then that will probably be, so that will sort of level itself out over today, and then it will dry tomorrow. So that is that one. That is Nouveau crystal drops, but I do find that if you are going to do that, I find clear embossing powder would get that done in half the time. So we'll just put that to one side and let that set. I'll probably make a few more, and then I will probably just add this here with a little bit of fabric glue there. I might just tack it down underneath so it stops swinging about, and then that can go on there, and I can put some things in that bag, and that will be where the buttons will go, so the buttons will live in there. The minimum buttons you're making is 10, and do 2 things with some buttons to be able to send some embellishments. And it could be that you want to make a button card, but perhaps they could be removed so they can still be usable, whereas I've stuck these down to make a journaling card. But if you'd like to see how I make those, I'm going to be putting up a video over on YouTube, and I will show you how I make those buttons. Settle into the project and just bring some buttons for some sneaky embellishment, and that is the project for July. It's all buttons, bows, embellishments. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you go off and have fun with your paper buttons, making lots of things. I really would like to see some buttons that aren't round, so do have a go at that as well. And if you're posting your pictures up on Instagram, do please use the hashtag #TheTreasuredPage and hashtag #TheTreasuredPageUK. That puts all the projects together and we can see what's been going on and keep connected. And more importantly, have the ideas from one another and just see how individual we all really are. And we can see that just from one idea we get so many different variations on the same theme. So there is no theme, but it is buttons and bows, and this comes from the 1948 film Buttons and Bows with Bob Hope. And that was a Paramount Picture film feature. So there we go. So that is the inspiration for this July. I will be showing you how I tackle these in my very next video. I hope that you found some inspiration there, and I hope that you would like to join in the fun of making paper buttons and decorations and just really enjoying the experience of making your own embellishments from nothing, from rubbish. It could be something as simple as a cereal box or a cracker box, and just punching them out, cutting out squares and making something from nothing. Okay guys, so thank you so much for joining me. Do please like and subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so that you won't miss the next video where I show you how I tackle these, and then we can make these lovely things together. Alright guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend, and above everything else, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.